this mother reached out to me. And I mean, the very first message was so long, and you could tell how like destroyed she was, by having these conversations with her son that's on the U.S.S. Abraham Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And, reading texts saying that he's starving, that he's almost passing out in line waiting for food, or they're running out of food while he's in line waiting to get his food.
Hi, my name is Suri Crowe, and you're watching the MeidasTouch Network. That was part of my conversation with Jared Zisser. He is a Marine Corps veteran, now turned independent journalist, telling me about what is allegedly going on aboard the U.S.S. Abraham Lincoln. That is a San Diego-based aircraft carrier that is currently deployed in the Middle East in support of Trump's war of choice against Iran. Zisser shared with me that at least one family, and perhaps more at this point, have reached out to him sharing details of their family members, sailors aboard that carrier, who are not getting enough to eat. According to the messages shared with Zisser, the family says that there is food, but just not enough, and that some items are running out before everyone is served. You can see a screenshot here from that family member's sailor who says, "I almost crashed out during breakfast. They ran out of eggs and pancakes before they started serving." In this case, the family tells Zisser that their sailor, who is a little over 6 feet tall, has dropped 30 pounds in just over a month or so at sea. Here is another screenshot where he says, "Well, folks, I weigh 128 pounds. Before deployment, I was a great 160. My ribs are showing." Zisser says the family is not communicating with him as part of a political attack, but out of grave concern.
This is a very heavy military family. The first one that reached out to me, okay? Generations of people in the Navy. She sent me screenshots. So like I verified this the best that I could, obviously, before I brought this forward. I didn't even start writing this thing until I probably did a week's worth of research based on what she's given me and everything, including even the position of the ship at certain times and ththings like that. So, this family is utterly destroyed because their son is on WhatsApp. They have access to, I don't know how they're actually doing that. When I was in Iraq with cell phones, I had the first iPhone. So like, it didn't even work when I was there, really. Yeah. The fact that this service member is communicating these feelings, passing out, is constantly saying that they're starving, and, a mother, and other loved ones in this chat group, by the way. This is not just not just like a vet. This is not just a service member talking to their mother. It's talking to their entire family in this chat group. Multiple people are having to see how this person is suffering, how they're going day by day, and just how they can see their ribs. Going from 160 pounds to 128 is in basically within a month is very dangerous.
Zisser, who told me he remembers how hard deployments can be, says it's common for young sailors and soldiers to want to come home, but it's another thing altogether to not have enough food to sustain you through long, hard days of work while you're deployed.
Reading texts saying that he's starving, that he's almost passing out in line waiting for food, or they're running out of food while he's in line waiting to get his food. It's not unusual for somebody to text, "I want to come home," or to even talk to their family members when they're in when they're in a war zone or a deployment at sea, anywhere, saying, "I want to come home." We all want to go home when we're there. That's just the reality of the situation. But when you combine that with the fact that they are either not getting food because they're running out, or they're getting the smallest portion of food that is not even sustaining them for, 3 hours during the maybe 2 or 3 hours, because they have to go back to work. And I don't care what your political beliefs are. If you raise your right hand and swear an oath to the Constitution, you should not have to be worried while doing that whether or not you're going to get adequate food. at all.
This is not the first we've heard of this story. In April, USA Today broke this story that other family members with sailors aboard the Abraham Lincoln and the U.S.S. Tripoli were also not getting enough to eat, that sailors were reportedly, quote, rationing food supplies, and that there was no fresh produce aboard the ships, and that families were so concerned that emergency care packages were pulled together to get these military family members non-perishable snacks and personal care items, etc. But the U.S. Postal Service had temporarily suspended mail delivery to 27 military zip codes after the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. And the Army had said that there was no suspension date in sight. And Zisser says the family that he's in touch with is also trying to get care packages to their sailor. Zisser also said the words the sailor used to describe himself is, quote, starving, and that he is dreaming of McDonald's. Here is another screenshot of his alleged breakfast. You can see that his tray is basically empty. He writes, quote, this was my breakfast. I showed blank this. Even he said on his deployments, he never got fed like this. I mean, you guys, these are empty trays. Empty. Our Pentagon has an almost unlimited budget, and Trump and Hegseth are asking Congress for another $1.5 trillion on top of the 2026 budget of nearly $1 trillion. And oh, by the way, Trump wants to cut even more domestic spending. For example, more healthcare, like we have any already, more programs for Americans here at home. But with billions of dollars, we apparently don't have enough food rations to feed our sailors after just a few months at sea. And lest you forget, according to the watchdog group Open Books, under Pete Hegseth, the Defense Department blew $7.5 million on lobster tail in 4 consecutive months, plus another $15.1 million on ribeye steak, plus thousands and thousands of dollars on sushi machines, on ice cream making machines, etc. Tell that to the sailors eating this. I don't know, it looks like pressed beaver tail, some kind of disgusting mystery meat. Zisser tells me that he and some of his fellow veterans believe that this warrants a congressional investigation.
This has to be in front of Congress. There can be no excuses. They cannot just, it has both sides of the aisle, all of Americans. This is not okay. In any way, shape, or form, this is not okay. If we were in a 20-year war and this happened 20 years in, that is not okay. I'm like doing everything I can to amplify this story. And not for me in any way, shape, or form. Like, this is just so personal to anybody that has served, especially if it's during a time of war, or even if it's not. If you're on a Marine Expeditionary Unit on a ship and you're traveling across the world, you expect to be taken care of, and at the very least. So I'm like doing everything I can to get this out there, and it's been great because 2 of the families have contacted me. Saying that they're having similar issues. I'm looking at those individuals as well.
I reached out to the Navy for a comment on this story, and here was the response I got from them. They sent me links to this tweet from the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, which says both the USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Tripoli have sufficient food on board to serve their crews with healthy options. The health and well-being of our sailors and Marines are my top priority, and every crew member continues to receive fully portioned, nutritionally balanced meals. Okay. The Navy also sent me a link to this tweet from Pete Hegseth. The U.S. Navy is correct. More fake news from the Pharisee press. My team confirmed the logistics stats for the Lincoln and Tripoli. Both have 30 plus days of Class 1 supplies, food on board. NavCent monitors this every day for every ship. Our sailors deserve and receive the best. That's my best Colin Jost imitation of Colin Jost from SNL doing Pete Hegseth, which I think he's fantastic. But, the Navy also sent me a tweet that says that the package embargo into the theater has been lifted. So hopefully those care packages will make it to our sailors soon. But the larger question to me is, should a nation with the largest military budget in the history of the world, be relying on families and friends to ship care packages of food and supplies to feed our service members across the world in a war of choice that was decided by a president who dines in golden ballrooms every weekend and who is obsessed with building a $1 billion golden ballroom? This is where we are, people. I don't know. You let me know what you think about this story in the comments below. I'll continue to follow and see what the developments are here. All my links to my socials are below. I have a brand new YouTube channel. Follow me on my Substack and Instagram and give me your thoughts. Seriously, peace in the Middle East.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.